Hey folks, you're listening to the Wrecking Crew. My voice sounds like I do have a bad cold. Um, I'm just glad, that it's not. I can't think of anything funny because I have a bad cold. So just deal with it. Just think of something funny, and then you deal with it. All right. So I have the one and only, um, the beautiful. She's a legend, Miss Kay Parker, who has starred in several adult films, has books out, and also has, I believe, just finished doing a documentary, and we're going to talk about that. Let's get going. Let's start it because Miss Kay Parker. Can I call you Kay Parker?
You can call me Kay.
Kay. All right. Good. All
Yes,
right.
just call me Kay.
Okay, so say hi to everybody and just let us know what you've been up to. You also, I'm sorry, she also has a spiritual. God,
Okay, Vito, let me do this, if you will,
yeah,
okay?
all right, all right,
Or I need to correct you on a couple of things right away. First of all, my screen career, my film career ended in 1985,
right.
and I made about 50 odd films, which wasn't a lot for that era, but nevertheless, a couple of them, one in particular called Taboo, kind of like
Took
put
off.
me
Yeah.
took off. Yeah. Also, I have written a book. I'm working on other books, but I only have one book, which is my autobiography, and it's an autobiographical journey spanning 6,000 years.
Yes,
So
that's it. Yeah.
yeah, it goes into my past lives. So since 1985, I've been a spiritual mentor and counselor. So I've been doing this for over 30 years, and it's who I am and what I'm here to do on the planet. And God knows we need it, right?
Sure. This time,
Yeah,
especially with the chaos.
everything.
I know
Yes,
it
yes.
is nuts out there. Do you watch the news?
Not much.
No,
No.
me neither.
You
It
know,
is
I,
too
I don't
depressing.
recommend it. Well, it's not that. It's just that there's so many lies, misnomers, and so much drama, and it's most of it is manifested by people who have some kind of reason for doing it. I don't know what the reason for doing it is, but you rarely come across the truth. And
No,
I'm only interested in the truth.
yeah,
So
I think their agenda is both sides are, no matter what news organization, they're competing at this day and age for viewership. So
exactly.
they will say, breaking news. And I remember growing up, whenever it was breaking news, it was serious stuff. If you heard breaking news, it was like, something catastrophic has happened. But
Yeah,
if you turn on the news, if you watch the news now, every second they're like, we have breaking news.
I know.
And it's
Most of it is hype. It's hype.
yes,
Hype.
it's all I think to get people to watch. And what bothers me about the news, we won't go too deep about this, but they want, I remember, if you were a news journalist or whatever, you were biased. You would just say, you would tell the news, tell the story, and it was up to the viewer to come up with, you come up with the, is the person good or bad or whatever. But now it's like, a news person will come on and you could tell that, just say whoever they're talking about, or whatever situation they're talking about, they want you to think their way. Uh,
Well, I think most journalists, if I can just interject this, most journalists have an agenda anyway. They may not think they do, but they do. And I have a personal story related to this. And during the last days, months that I was in the industry, I used to be called on frequently by the media because I can talk, because I'm intelligent and I can talk.
right.
And and I had good answers, and yet I so often, realized that what I was saying was more than likely going to be taken out of context and used for their own devices. So I would tell them up front if they called me, I'd say, look, here's the thing. I know how this works. So why don't you tell me what your story is, what your slant is, right? And they would say, well, we don't have one yet. And I said, no, 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 that's not true. You do. You already have an idea about where you want to go with the story. So if you're honest with me, I can give you, the what you need, but I will do it in a way that I don't become your victim because
Right.
I'm not a victim. Right. So,
No,
so and
like,
this,
do you think they
right?
were like, no matter what you would say, do you think the respect value back then was, because I remember if you were a adult star, it was like hush hush, you didn't, well, I remember, I was never an adult star, but I remember they did not get mainstream, um, like when when Taboo came out or whatever,
Yeah.
everybody knew about it, but nobody talked about it. If you understand, you know.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I'm talking about during the time when it was sweeps time, on TV.
Right.
And so and sex of course always sold. It still does, big
Mm-hmm.
time. And so, it was just a given. I would immediately, if the phone would start ringing, I immediately knew, oh, it must be sweeps time, right? you know,
Right.
and then I could, like I say, I was just honest with them, and it worked. It worked, because I knew the industry, I knew the business, and I knew how it worked. So things have changed, but I think there's still that element where, a story is it's so far from the truth. So
Right.
so to go back to your original question, no, I tend not to watch the news. Obviously, there's certain news that none of us can really escape. It's so in your face these days with,
Right.
the internet and so on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
No,
yeah,
I understand. Um,
yeah.
so, uh, uh, you know, I have to ask, when you read for Taboo, did you know that it was going to be huge? Like it was going to be one of those. I mean, you could talk to people to this day and they go, "Oh yeah, I remember that movie." Um, did you know?
No, I mean, you never know. I mean, I've heard major movie stars say the same thing. It's like, who knew? Who could tell? How can you tell? There's just no way. I mean, it was a relatively small budget, and and yet the theme, which was an incest theme, hadn't really been explored in that industry. There were only a couple of people that really touched on it.
Y-
So along comes this producer and his wife, who wrote the script, by the way, and it's full blown, story about incest.
Yeah,
And even though a lot of people have told me, oh, well, I didn't even pay that close attention to the storyline. It's still it spawned a whole slew of sequels.
yeah.
So I guess suddenly this was sort of a new thing, to deal with the subject of incest.
Yes, but did that freak you out when they said, like in the storyline, even though he's not your son, you're gonna have to pretend. You know what I mean? Like, did that
Well,
bother you?
here's the thing. At first, and this is all in my book, because I do tell stories about how this all happened. Um, at first, I said no when I found out that it was a story about incest, because I had friends who were victims of incest. And sorry, I'm sucking a lozenge because I
No,
too
me
have had
too.
this
Me too.
dreaded cold.
If you hear
Um,
sucking, it's not us working. It's actually us work. Like, all right, go on. Sorry.
so I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. But and anyway, so I knew that I didn't feel good about it, but they persisted. They came back to me, and then I was moved to do it, and all I can say is that my high self said, "Do it." There's a reason for this. There's a reason for this, and I could not have known what it was at the time. You can't. I'm not a psychic. I can't see into the future,
Right.
even though I do every once in a while. I get glimpses, but there's no telling what's going to happen with the film. And by the way, at that time the internet wasn't even a reality. So it was crazy. No, I mean, it was just something that I felt inclined to do. I felt guided. Excuse me. And off we went, type of thing. And then many years later, of course, when I thought it was all done and over, it's just not, because of the internet. So, and that's kind of the reason, one of the reasons how the documentary that's just been made about me came about, which is called A Taboo Identity, by the way,
And
because it's kind of hard to escape that, the taboo. But my book is called I just totally went blank
yeah,
on the name
it's
of
called
the book.
1000. Well, I just had it. 1000.
No, it's Taboo. It's called Taboo, Sacred, Don't Touch.
Yeah, that's right.
An autobiographical journey spanning 6,000 years. And the reason why I decided to use the word taboo is, if you look it up in the dictionary, this is interesting. You look it up in the dictionary, it's a Polynesian word that means sacred. And it applies to a sacred bread that is used by the chief of the tribe.
Right.
And yeah, and you're not, if it's not used in ceremony, it's stashed in a place and called taboo. So I wanted to kind of like call upon a different meaning to the word, and not necessarily to associate it with a film, although of course everybody does.
Did you
So
explain that in the film, that that's what it meant?
yeah,
Okay, good.
no,
Okay,
I
good.
do explain it in the book. Yeah, it's in the book. It's in one of the author's prefaces, I think.
Good.
But it's interesting. Yeah, but I life's journey is so interesting, and I often call it like the tapestry of life. It's like all these lines of energy and all these people and places and events, all being guided somehow
Right.
for us
Right.
and leading to a certain point.
So you're a very spiritual person, right? Like,
Listen, I want to talk about the word spiritual because so many people use it, and I'm not sure if they understand the meaning of it. We're all spiritual. We came from spirit, right? Spirit breathed us into existence, and then this the Father planted the seed, and out came this spiritual being. So we're all spiritual. It's just that my spiritual awareness is developed, right? It's like I came in knowing that there was something more, and I work with people that I call star beings, and these are individuals who seem to have some awareness that they came from another world and they don't feel at home here on the planet. A lot of people who struggle with life and have depressions and all kinds of now medically named conditions, oftentimes, if not mostly, it's because they don't feel at home on this planet. I mean, look at this planet.
so,
Jeez, Louise.
yeah, I know. Just
Right?
wait here. I'm just trying to. You threw me off there for a second. So you think that, like, you think that people, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a jerk. Just, you think people came, like, some people that are on this planet thought that they, like, just say I came to you and
Mhm,
I didn't feel right. I just said, listen,
mhm.
I don't like the world. I don't like the way things are, and I just don't feel right. Would that mean, like, would you say, well, you're from a different galaxy or something?
Well, I would, if first of all, I usually attract people who have a deeper knowing, a deeper feeling, who want to know the truth about who they are as souls. It's and so yes, I would say that to them. Well, the main problem is that you feel alone because you don't resonate with this planet, but your soul chose being here. Your soul chose the opportunity to come in and to make a difference. That's why we're all here. We're all here to make a difference, to bring what I call love and light, simply, and to do things differently, because this planet, which is a third dimensional planet, which is moving into a higher resonance, so fourth and fifth dimensional reality. And this is reality. You can go online and just thousands of people talking about this. And it's like we have to evolve. We need to grow up so that the planet can evolve, because that's its destiny. So there are some of us, and in many cases, those of us who feel out of place here, who we forget, once you come into life, and you grow up with people who perhaps aren't as conscious, and they're not giving you the guidance that you really need. We feel out of place, out of sorts, and we turn to, how should we say this, a darker way of being, because we don't know anything else, right? So my job, my work, is about helping people to understand why they chose to be here now, because we all chose. We weren't just randomly placed here. We all chose it. And as spiritual beings, we if we come more into alignment with that reality, with that truth, we can feel more comfortable, shall we say. Then we can get on about the business of being all that we are, being all we were meant to be, and doing the work that we came to do, which is about helping people to wake up. Right? So, which is what we're doing with this interview. This is why I do interviews,
Right.
because I have to talk about this stuff, because there's nothing else that's more important. Nothing.
No,
Than knowing.
that's
Sorry.
that's I've never heard that. That just kind of, I didn't know that. Um, um,
Well, in the beginning of my book, I dedicate the book to the 7 point something billion million star beings on the planet. In other words, these are individuals who really did agree to wake up fully while they're here. And many of us, if not all of us, are from other worlds, right? It's like we're that's why
well,
we feel.
we are, like, I follow you, and like, but, um, like, I'm an agnostic, so I don't, I'm leaning more atheist than
Okay.
because I don't, I'm just being truthful with you. I don't see a higher power or anything like that. I just see that, just be respectful, be kind, don't eat babies, and you'll be, you have one life. Um, Try to enjoy it. Try and be there are atheists that are jerks, and there are some of the most honest people I've ever met are atheists. Some of my best friends are atheists, and ones that are the ones that are very spiritual ones are the ones that always seem to, I don't know, do me wrong, as you say, so, as they say. So, um, but I do believe that we are, actually, we do come from stardust.
Mm-hmm.
The galaxy, we're over 4 billion years old, the Earth, and so we did come from stardust. But I can't see us coming from a spirit from another galaxy, like
Well, no,
that would be like, the same as,
that's,
the Scientologies would believe, right?
no, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Okay,
So here's a
keep.
question. I always ask people this. So your heart is beating, right?
Yeah.
You have a heart, and the heart beats, and that's what keeps you alive,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
But my question is, and every once in a while I sit and think about this, and it just like moves me to my core, and it's like, who or what is beating your heart? We're not plugged into an electrical socket. I mean, that's what doctors do to when we flatline, and to try and revive us. But just that thought in and of itself, to me, is a major thought to have. It's like there's an invisible force that is breathing us.
But the same
Because
can
when
be said about turtles and birds and flies and
everything,
everything.
absolutely,
So
everything.
I mean,
Oh,
cows that get slaughtered, pigs. I remember yesterday driving to Toronto and seeing you feel bad for them. A bunch of pigs sitting inside of a truck,
yeah.
and they're on their way to get slaughtered.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter's like, where they're off to, and I told her the truth. They're off to. That's why she doesn't eat meat. So, um, yeah, I just believe that what breathed life into us is just evolution. Just we've been on this planet uh, for so long, and we've come from Neanderthal. I can't remember before Neanderthal, but we have evolved,
Yeah,
yeah, like
yeah,
we are.
yeah.
But the same thing, like what you're saying is, we all have we all feel like we have a destiny, or we feel, like you say, people that come to you. Like I saw on the post, you had Rod Stewart that said, "Thank you, Kay Parker, for helping me," and he's a big
No,
star.
that's not Rod Stewart.
Oh,
That's another Stewart.
okay,
Just to be
you could
clear.
have lied. You could have said it was Rod Stewart. So, um,
No.
that's nice that you didn't. But um, like I always think to myself when people think something is guiding me or whatever, something better. Sure, of course, we all want that. We all desire that. We all, if you look at a guy that's or a girl that's successful or whatever, you go, that's kind of what I want, which is kind of wrong because that's materialistic. And I think if you're materialistic, I find that kind of disgusting in a person. So
Why? Why?
because if you think that you need lots of money to be happy, then you're always going to be miserable. If you can't achieve, you'll never be happy, even if you make $10 million. If you make, you want $10 million, you want 20 million, and you want this, and you become, it's all materialistic. Once you're gone, you're
Well,
gone.
I think I
Enjoy yourself.
okay.
I could, I remember one girlfriend said to me, she said, I could have fun with you if you had $1,000 in your pocket or you had $1 in your pocket.
Well, yeah, I agree with this. I have friends who most of my friends are, they're not wealthy, and I've never been wealthy, quote unquote. I'm not. That's not what we're talking about here. But self-denial is huge in this world too, where people, because they don't feel worthy, because shame still reigns supreme on this planet, they don't feel worthy, so they deny themselves a lot of stuff. And I was one of them. And I still do to some degree. In fact, some of my friends will say you're being so hard on yourself, and it's because I take my work really seriously, and I'm still learning, just along with everybody else, learning how to just really let go and to know how worthy and how loved I am. But it all comes from within. So we have to tune into that love inside. So I don't want to get too woo woo about all of this. But
We're both
the
sick.
work is
We're both sick, and we're talking about. It's funny. No, no.
a
You're more than welcome to talk. It's I don't consider it what you just said woo woo. I consider if it's
Oh,
something
okay.
that you believe, you believe. I don't think that's something to make fun of anybody
Right.
or to
And
ridicule them. I don't. If that's what you believe, that's what you believe. Everybody.
yeah, and I since and I just want to say this, that many people, and men in particular, and that's what's so interesting to me, is that I work I don't work exclusively with men by any means, but over the years, I've worked with so many men who come to me, and oftentimes they don't know why they're coming. And I'll tell you why you were drawn to coming and having a session with me. Although I'm not doing in-person sessions anymore, I'm just doing Skype. But it's because you recognize something in me that you want.
Is
And
it
I'm not talking about, physical, sexual stuff. I'm not talking about that because I don't talk about that in my sessions.
right?
It's about the spiritual thing. And so it's really about the heart. You feel my heart, even and today, to this day, I hear this all the time. It's like there was something different about you when in the movies, and that's the quote. I'm not going to go any further than that because it sounds like I'm doing the sort of, patting myself on the back, but I'm not. But I do acknowledge my work, by the way, because I
No, no,
always,
don't, no, 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 don't
I,
apologize for anything.
I
Just
always strove to put the heart
I,
into
I, I,
the
I
work.
I am a seeker. Okay, that's all.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
and to me, I used to be a Catholic. I still respect, if you want to believe what you believe. I seeked, I went out, I looked, and that saying, seek and you will find, and
mhm,
I did, and I still seek, try and seek, and I've done interviews with some of the biggest atheists on the planet. I talked to. God, I'm sick, so I can't remember. He's the president of atheism, and I've talked to Brian. I'm not doing any favors, but anyways, if people were to look at my channel, you could see I've done interviews with people that the point is I'm asking them questions about what they believe and why they believe, and it made a lot of sense. Meaning, just say, I've read the Bible uh, twice, okay, and um, both times tried and I used to do the rosaries every day, and then after I remember sitting there, and all of a sudden this feeling of this is a waste of time. No one's listening. Like I could pray all I want. There is the this is my feeling. That's all I could tell you. Okay, I just said this is really just not for me, and
mhm,
I just said this is not. I don't feel a presence. I don't feel I when I think about when I watch talks with, just say, on RN Raw, or God, I can't believe I forgot the man's name, and I watch his talks, and where they go up against be it a Christian, be it a Muslim, be it whatever they go up against, they have these they have good answers that I just think, yeah, that it makes sense to me. I do stand up, and for me, the big taboo was, you never made fun of God, and now guys just kind of, they kind of, it's you can make fun of. I don't, but I see people making fun of Jesus or whatever, and uh, I know I'm going way off topic here, but for me personally, Kay, it just felt like I am just out of the 7 billion people. Um, I got a house, I got a wife, I've got kids. I'm very lucky. Uh, I don't have millions of dollars, but you know what? Um, their children. I do fundraisers for children of Haiti. Um,
good for you. That's great.
yes, because and these kids, some of them who are born, die within 2 weeks, and I just think, where is the God to take care of you. Like you know, nobody, no matter, even kids that are born with cancer or whatever and suffer. And I just think no, I don't believe in the God of the Bible. Now, do I believe that there's something out there? Maybe. But then I think about this, Kay, and this is what gets gets me going is if you add up the billions and billions of people that have been on this planet and have died and have passed on. And this is something that I think about because we're not young spring chickens anymore, and anything could happen. Anything could happen. You get in a car, you could you could pass or whatever. My neighbor's mom just passed. Beautiful woman. And she was so full of life when I saw her during the summer, and then within 3 months she's gone, and cancer
Yeah,
just destroyed her.
yeah.
And it's just where I just think, um, you know, I hope,
So this is um a huge subject, and I don't think we should get stuck on the sort of negative, because I don't
no,
do
no,
that.
it's not
Like,
negative.
I know, but it's kind of like the way it is here,
No,
and
I don't
and
treat it
so
negative. I don't think that's negative at all. I think it's very,
okay, no, don't get me wrong, but I just do want to be able to say a few things while we're on this interview, because time is of the essence,
okay,
so
sure.
so yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and I also don't believe in a small god. I've never been in any kind of a structured religion, because I people ask me if I'm religious, and I say heck no. I'm spiritual, if that gives you any indication that what I'm looking for is the bigger picture, right? There's
Okay.
something so much bigger, so much bigger. And I think the closest we can get to understanding it is there's this law of attraction talks about it. A fabulous book. It's kind of like a bestseller in the, how should we say, this new age arena, and it explains it to me more clearly than just about anything else. But I wanted to, if I may just talk about the documentary
Yes,
for
sorry. Yes, yes. I know
for
we went. I just thought it was very. The things that you said, kind of. I had to ask you. You know,
mm-hmm.
it,
Yeah,
it was
sure,
just
sure.
my curiosity.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
all right.
and
Let's.
and
All
like,
right. So
I'm
let.
with
let
I'm with I'm with you on a lot of those points. I
okay.
really am.
Okay. Well, I
And
do
and
appreciate you talking about that stuff. So tell me
yeah,
about the documentary and tell me tell me. Let's talk about that.
so the documentary is called A Taboo Identity. And it came about because I was interviewed by a gentleman who is on a PhD journey. He teaches at Iowa State. David Wall, who is a social psychologist, and David approached me because he was doing some research on human sexuality, and he approached me to do an interview, and to cut a long story short, we became friends. And he's from Minneapolis, and he had met um, these guys who have a production company, and they were interested in doing a documentary. And this is how it came about. And it's been a long journey. It's about 2 years and some ups and downs, but it's done, and it's out in the world. I mean, you could get it on Amazon. It's streaming on Amazon Prime right now,
Right.
and there are going to be some screenings coming up in just a few days, actually. So it's interesting, and it talks about my journey from excuse me, from the being a porno star to a spiritual counselor, and the in a sense, not struggles, but the sort of paradoxes that have been involved in all of that. And David was really interested in looking at that. So um that's why it happens. So I'm able to talk about, how so many people still see me as that Barbara Scott character, which is absolutely nothing to do with who I am.
Right.
And everything that I did on film was acting. That was all about acting.
Sure.
And but it was a significant part of my journey, right? And learning about my own sexuality, and so it's highly significant, and I embraced it. There's no regret, and but there is a story there. So you know, it's like I say, it's been a journey, and finally it's done, and it's out in the world, and hopefully people will buy
Well,
it.
I think they will because I think that you are very. I mean, I've seen, I've watched your films. I'm not going to apologize for that. I
No,
watched
no,
them and I enjoyed them we all fantasize and we all. I think that's the thing that you brought to people. For me, I don't watch uh, adult performers of today. I watch performers of past because to me it was more any movie that you were in. I'm sure I've seen them all,
uh,
but I've always thought there was this the way first I need to be physically attracted to you, like, and of course, but I said this is a beautiful woman, and the way you were, believe it or not, and if people uh, disagree, then I don't care. I thought you were for who for. I always thought you were I always thought you could make it in film like real film
mhm,
because I thought you were a great actress. Okay, because
thank
I
you.
believed the character you played. Okay,
Well,
and
I studied acting. I studied acting before I got into the business. I did study. So when it was important to me to portray a character with depth
mm-hmm,
and with heart,
yeah,
whether it was a good character or a sort of rich bitch kind of character, it didn't really matter to me. I wanted it to be authentic.
right. And it
Right.
was all about, for me, it was the fantasy of being with this woman and, to pretend. Of course, I couldn't be with you, but it was all about the fantasy of, yes, it would
Mhm.
be wonderful to be with this woman. Um, so then you watch movies of today, and I've done an interview with Lisa Sparks, and I don't know if you know who that is, but
No, I don't.
okay, well she is the gangbang champion of the world.
Oh,
She
geez.
Yeah, she did 919 men, and in I think it was in one day, and she's a very kind, sweet person, but what I only watched 3 minutes of that and I just couldn't enjoy it because it just wasn't like, to me it was like she was treated like, honestly, like a piece of meat, like it was just like, just so
Yeah.
it wasn't enjoyable. I didn't like that part, I just thought, oh no, but she and I didn't want to say that to her, to say, um, I just I didn't like it. So, but when with your movies, you would fantasize of the person, and I just think that that's gone this day and age. It's all about the clothes are off within you know 2 minutes,
Well,
and
it's I think it's because, if I may say this, it's because of the desensitization, with the internet and people's addiction to computers and computer programming and porno on the computer. It's like it's been desensitized, and so it's a very different era from the one that I was in. And so, just as we're wrapping this up, I just want to say that again, I was grateful for my opportunity to participate, because, and there was sort of like a sisterhood back in that day. There were several actresses, Seika being one of them, and we fought to put substance and quality and heart into the movies. We really did. And it just around the time when we thought we were being successful, maybe we were, um, along comes video, right? And all of a sudden everything changed.
Right.
Video changed the world.
Yes, it
So
did.
I was glad to be part of the industry that was quality, well, moving towards that, and doing its best to present and produce quality materials. And but then it all went away. So and today I don't even know about the industry today. I don't watch it. It's not of interest to me. So um, I just played my little part.
Right.
But as I said, time is of the
Okay,
essence.
well, let me just
So
ask you these are just quick little, I always do this with people. I ask them just quick little things here. What is your favorite food? And
ah,
that could be a
I would have to
snack too.
sushi.
Sushi. Yes, me too.
Love
I
sushi.
love sushi. Okay, and if
Yeah.
you had a car that, what would be your dream car? I know that's materialistic, but anyways, what would you, as a car, would want?
It is an interesting question because I think I've had my dream car. Back in the day, I drove a Saab and I loved Saabs. Of course, they're not around anymore. I have an old Toyota. It's a 2006 Toyota, which I love. It's been such a good car to me. So I don't I don't know. If I saw myself in a new car, it might be a smaller model Mercedes. Might be,
Like a
you know,
C-Class Mercedes.
yeah, something small and compact, but also a hybrid, because I'm really
Sure,
conscious about that.
sure. And then what is your favorite color?
Um, my favorite color is in the blue spectrum, blue turquoise spectrum.
Blue turquoise. And then like to go on trips, where do you like to, like, I'm not gonna have, no one's gonna stalk you, but where would you like to go on a trip that you've never been?
Oh boy. Well, somewhere in the Caribbean, somewhere
Like,
warm and
yeah, the
beautiful.
Bahamas. I want to go to the
Bahamas.
Bahamas. No,
Yeah.
I really do. I really want to live in the Bahamas. So, okay,
Okay.
now, okay, this will be the final question. Um, if you had a time machine and you could go anywhere in time and you could come back, where would you go? And if you can,
To take a look and to check it out,
yeah,
I would go back to a lifetime that I had in Egypt 6,000 years ago that I write about in my book. And
okay.
I was a high priestess, and a lot of my gifts and talents that I have today actually began way back then.
Oh,
So
so you were a high priestess in Egypt. We won't get into that, but you that's what you that you'd go back and see yourself as a high priestess.
yeah, I've had experiences of it. I've done past life regression, and I was there. I was trained. I was trained very intensely, and unfortunately, I was only in my power, shall we say, for about 3 years, and then the men came in and wiped all of the priestesses out of the temple and slaughtered them, a lot of them. So that was like one of those significant times, or yeah,
And you
places in time
and
where,
you remember that.
yeah, you
Huh.
do.
Okay. All right. So, I know time is of the essence, and I would have loved to have had more time with you. I apologize with the technical difficulties. Okay, okay, so let's sum it up here. The movie. Please, uh, give me the name of the movie, and please
The
give me
title,
the. Please tell me. Oh God, I just had it. When people, how can people find you if they would like
okay,
to, spiritual healing?
yeah. the best way to get hold of me is my website, which is ktaylorparker, all
Okay.
spelled out,
Okay.
.com.
Okay.
And the documentary is called At A to A, Taboo Identity, available on Amazon, also streaming right now on Amazon Prime. And my book is, which you can see on the website, it's called Taboo, Sacred, Don't Touch. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to say it
Mm.
was an honor to speak with you. I learned,
Thank
you know, I had no, I had no idea. Uh, the interview was where you took me was kind of threw me off there, but that's really good.
you.
You find interesting thing, and please do not think I'm in any way making fun or being stupid or. I just asked questions, and I just wanted to.
I'm
That's
not
all.
thinking that at all.
Okay, good.
I'm not thinking that at
Okay.
all. So thank you, Vito. I
N-
really appreciate the opportunity
Oh,
always to speak to you and to your listeners. Thank you.
oh, thank you. Well, thank you for your presence. That was very kind. You meet people, pretty amazing people in the world, and
Yeah.
you're very special. Okay,
Thank you.
So I want you to enjoy the rest of your day, and
Thank you.
be good. And people that are out there, watch the movie. I guarantee you, you will enjoy it. So without further ado, folks, you are listening to the Wrecking Crew. I'm Vito D'Amico. Um, Thank you, Kay. I'll talk to you
Thank
later.
you.
Okay,
Blessings. Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye.
All right, so yeah, we're talking to Kay Parker there, and that was that kind of threw me off, that whole past life thing, and her thinking she was going to be a priestess of some sort. So I don't know. It was kind of, I didn't expect that, but I don't know. That was weird. Odd. I don't want to say weird, just odd. She believes that she was a priestess of, and people, you heard the interview. So, anyways, I don't want to, I'm not here, I don't want to make fun of her. She believes in what she believes. Um, I hope, if you get something out of that video, out of the interview, great. If not, I totally understand. Um, so, anyways, yeah, I just had to. Usually, I never say anything after I interview the person because I think that's kind of a cheap shot if you're gonna um, interview somebody and then you say, you talk behind their back, kind of. And I don't want you to think that. I just want you, any of the listeners out there to know that, yeah, the stuff where she thought she was a priestess and, that people come from different galaxies, I don't really, I don't know. And she didn't really want to get into it, which, um, it was kind of weird. And I kept telling her I wasn't going to make fun of you. Please explain. But she just said, nah, she just wanted to, just give a hint of what, you know just give a little tidbits of what she believed and why. And I really wanted to delve deeper into that. And you could clearly see she didn't want to. And I told her I was not going to make fun of you. It's just, if that's what you believe, that's what you believe. So, for the listeners that are, out there, make your own judgment. That was Kay Parker of Taboo. I guess everybody changes. We picture them as, we always have that, picture of them when we saw them, and they've. And about the past life thing, that's, I always find it comical in a way because nobody ever picks themselves as, they always think of themselves as the I was a high priestess, or I was a king, or I was a knight of the round table, or whatever. But nobody ever picks himself as the piss bucket boy, or just the handmaid, or some poor devil. It's always somebody of importance in a past life. So I don't know. Um, I just take it with a grain of salt. Anyways, that was an interesting interview, and hope you enjoyed it, folks. I'm Vito D'Amico of the Wrecking Crew. Um, I don't know. Take what you want out of it. I'll talk to you later.